How do you think Addis Ababa is changing African image globally?
I think the fact that the headquarters of UNO are in Addis Ababa, and of course UNO is an organization that kind of reaches out to different countries, development of different countries, and I'm very sure, I think it's like a basement for these kind of operations.
Ethiopia, what comes into my mind is that Ethiopia is the birthplace of coffee.
Yeah.
I think of their traditional food, that's the injera. And then Ethiopia was never colonized.
Ethiopia was never colonized. What comes into your mind when you think of Ethiopia?
It's 5 years behind.
5 years behind? Yeah. And you, what comes into your mind when you think of Ethiopia?
Mostly their culture, the way they dance. I normally love it good.
Oh, you like the dance?
Yeah. Okay, I think learning about the history of Africa is really important because looking at the current conditions of Africa, if we want to change Africa to, a better continent or a more developed continent, then we need to know our history so that we can compare with the present and be able to influence the future. But if we are unaware about the reason why Africa is like this, why are we poor, why are we still, backward, 200 years backward, then we can never get to understand why we are, still at this same level and how we can actually be better as Africa.
Its history, being one of the countries that were not colonized, it sounds of an interesting country. Yeah, it sounds to be an interesting country because out of all these many countries in Africa, it is one of the two that were not colonized.
Which one?
Liberia, I think Liberia and Ethiopia.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, so the other thing about Ethiopia that I know, there is something that I think we studied this in A-level, the Italo-Ethiopian crisis, like such a small African country going to war with a superpower like Italy, Haile Selassie, yeah.
Do you know Haile Selassie?
Yeah, I've heard of Haile Selassie, Mariam Mengistu. Yeah. And again, the headquarters of UNO, I think. The headquarters of UNO. So I've never been to
the
Ethiopia.
African Union, yeah.
Yeah, I've never been to Ethiopia. But that is what I know about Ethiopia.
What comes into your mind when you think about Ethiopia?
Ethiopia, what I know about it is that it is 5 years behind all the other countries.
Yeah.
And another thing is that it is located at the Horn of Africa.
That's what you know?
Yeah, that's basically it.
Okay. Between Kampala and Addis Ababa, which city do you think is modern?
Probably I would consider Kampala, the fact that I've not traveled to Ethiopia yet. Yeah, but I'll be glad if I got a chance to travel there.
You'll be glad if you go to Ethiopia. Okay, what would you like to see in Ethiopia if you get a chance to travel there?
I'd like to know about how those people behave, their norms, the culture, their food. Meanwhile, everything about tradition and culture. Yeah.
Okay. That's the only thing you'd like to know about Ethiopia?
Yeah, that's basically it.
What comes into your mind when you think of Ethiopia?
Well, when I think of Ethiopia, it's the fact that at some point of life Jesus was there. So it feels nice. Though I keep on asking myself why he didn't come to Uganda too, but
Jesus?
Yeah, Jesus.
Okay, I think Ethiopia is in the Horn of Africa, right?
Yes.
And what comes in my mind? The airways, the Ethiopian Airways. Yeah, they are very prominent. That's it.
Okay. And you?
I think about the wars. There used to be wars there. I don't know if they're still going on, but there used to be wars even when they're fighting with Eritrea and all those. So yeah, that's what I think about it.
That's what you think about it?
Yeah.
Okay. Between Addis Ababa and Kampala city, which city do you think is more modern?
I think I'd go with Addis Ababa.
Is modern?
Yeah.
Okay. If today they give you an opportunity to travel to Ethiopia, will you travel to Ethiopia or remains here in Uganda?
I would travel to Ethiopia because I love adventure. I would go to Ethiopia.
You'll go to Ethiopia?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you like mostly about Ethiopia?
Like I've told you, I've never been there.
You've never been there before.
Yeah, but I just have that curiosity, you know. Yeah, I have that curiosity to know what is there exactly. Yeah, because I think it's not even a third world country like Uganda is. Yes, yeah. I think it's like a developed country, so it's just adventure.
I don't really know much about this country in particular, but one thing I'm so certain of, there are some things we learned about it when we were still in school. They told us it was the only country in Africa which was not colonized by whites. It has one of the biggest airports in Addis Ababa, something like that. And then also, there are some other stories we hear about it. The natives, I don't know if it's true, but I've heard that back then kings were chosen in a way that they had to fight a lion, something like it's some story I've heard about Ethiopians. Also, they are the only maybe people who have not gone into these and they have not also adopted the things of religion, just like the Anglican Church, the Catholic Church. I think those are the things actually I've heard about Ethiopia in particular.
That's really incredible. So which city do you think is more modern, Kampala City or Addis Ababa?
No, this one is called the Pothole City. Yeah, we'll come to the Pothole City. But according to the level of modernization and civilization, I think Ethiopia is far. And actually, I've come to notice this, that most African countries that have been able to retain their original civilization have had better developments, and you have seen that you can also take a reference to South Africa. They have tried to maintain their culture, and you can sadly, however much the whites came in and boosted the economy, but at least you see that the moment they came into, they had adopted their culture already, and it helped them somehow. I don't know the magic behind it, but I feel like the more people retain themselves to their culture, the more they have room for expansion.
My name is Tumsime Jacqueline, and I am a student at Makerere University offering a bachelor's in law.
Okay, nice to meet you. My name is Roland. Okay, I have a question for you. Why do you think Ethiopia was never colonized?
I think Ethiopia was never colonized because of a number of reasons. Number one, its strategic location, it's in the Horn of Africa, and then, it's not easily accessible, and its terrain itself, it made it hard for it to be colonized. If I remember correctly from my history, during the Battle of Adawa, 1896, where they defeated the Italians, already that was a success that helped them not to be colonized. So when you put together, I think they're more united, the national unity, national identity, then their military strategies and strength, and then you add on the terrain and its strategic location, definitely they could not be colonized easily, compared to other countries that were open and, more easily accessible.
Okay. How did you get to know about this history about Ethiopia?
In Uganda, our education system, we study history right from primary 4. That is the primary level. Then even secondary level, we still study the history of Africa. So many Ugandans, I think, those who have gone through this education system are knowledgeable about the history of Africa and many African countries at large.
Why do you think learning about the African countries or learning about the history of Africa is important to Africans?
Okay, I think learning about the history of Africa is really important because looking at the current conditions of Africa, if we want to change Africa to, a better continent or a more developed continent, then we need to know our history so that we can compare with the present and be able to influence the future. But if we are unaware about the reason why Africa is like this, why are we poor, why are we still, backward, 200 years backward, then we can never get to understand why we are, still at this same level and how we can actually be better as Africa.
Wow. Any message for the people watching us now?
Thank you so much for the opportunity. It was nice talking to you. My name still remains Jacqueline Tumusime. Bye.
Thank you so much for